Hello YouTube, Chris Roma here, aka Roma Aquatics, and today I'm going to paint my Guppy tank. So I was originally going to do a 3D background in the back of this tank, but I decided not to and to paint it instead, because then I won't have to cut the background, and I don't think the styrofoam is going to cut nice enough to cut it. What you're going to need for this project is a garbage bag, some Rust-Oleum black paint, or whatever color of your choice, a moist sponge. How many of you just cringed when I said moist? I don't mind the word, but I know a lot of people hate it. Some tape, flashlight, dry paper towels, and the tank. Oh, sorry about my hand there, guys. So, let's see if I can get a better camera angle. Nope, that's about as good as it's gonna get. I'm gonna have to move. But basically what you're going to want to use the flashlight for is to check for dirt. And I already had scratches. So what you want to do is look at the tank for scratches, the front and back. Whatever side has the most scratches, if you find scratches, that's the side you want to paint. One, it'll help the paint stick better, and two, obviously you don't want scratches on the front of your tank. But flashlight always also comes in handy to clean the tank. So you want to make sure the surface you're going to paint is extremely clean. So what you want to do is just take your moist sponge, clean your tank, and take your dry it off. That's pretty easy. I'm not going to go over that. I do have a tip, however, for getting the final fuzz off the tank, like the paper towel fuzz. So what you're going to want to do is start on the other side of the tank, like off the tank. Come onto the tank, pull straight across and up, and that's going to pull that most of that lint and fuzz off the glass, like rather than if you were going like this. So that's just a little tip for cleaning your glass and getting everything really clean at the end. But let's get on to it. After your glass is clean, you want to make sure. So I've decided this is the side I'm going to use as the side I'm going to paint. This is going to be the front of my tank. I know I have my thermometer on the front to mark the front of the tank. It makes it really easy for me so I don't lose the orientation. So I'm going to want to block this side, and this side from overspray. This side's really not that important because it's going to be blocked. The tank's going to be laying down like this when I'm painting. So these two sides are more important than this side. But to get started here, we take our utility knife. I'm out of shot. Let's see how that is. Much better. So I'm just going to take my utility knife here, and we just want to cut the bag. The bag is about the length of this. So basically what I'm hoping to achieve is if I cut the top and bottom seams here, I'll be able to open up the bag lengthwise, and it should be able to make it where I can only have to use one bag to cover both sides of the tank. So that's the objective I'm trying to achieve here. And I've tried to cut bags with scissors here. You need really sharp scissors. I found that just using a knife is easier. Make a nice cleaner cut. Cut doesn't have to be perfect, but the cleaner it is, the easier it is to tape it after. So that's one side down. You don't need to flip the bag there, guys. I'm just doing that so you can see what I'm doing. Quite the cleanest rip at the top there. You should get something that's a little bit like that, nice and long. And now for the test. Oh, be careful with your tanks, guys. You don't want to slam around like that. That sounded scary. But basically, you want to tape it there. Still. Tape it there. Go all the way around. And wow, look at that. It's like this bag was made for this tank. Okay, so now I also have some tips for taping this off. When you want to start taping, most people would just try to line up the tape in the bag, like when they're taping the bag, they would try to line it up perfect and go across. It's really hard to do with these flimsy materials. So what you want to do is just get yourself started here with a few pieces of tape. Just do 4 to get you started, and I'll do the rest on it. But basically, you want to get this real nice. And I'm going to go up on the frame, but I'm not going to go over this glass. You want this tape to line up perfectly with the glass. But not go on to the front. So basically, I'm going to make this easy on myself. I'm going to put this here first to hold that bag there. Now, I can maneuver the bag to where I need it. So, if you guys can see, I left focus. A really long time. Finally, I left the hair about the same width as the glass, and the reason for that is I want this tape to go exactly right. It's hard to do one-handed, but you know what I mean. I want it to go line up perfectly exactly with that. So I guess 2 is enough. I'm gonna go ahead and do the down the side of the tank, and then go around the whole top of the tank and the bottom of the tank and get this taped off. Just these little strips, little at a time. So basically, next one, I'm just going to tape there. So the whole top I'm going to do kind of sloppy and just do little sections, so maybe 3 pieces of tape across each side, and just get it up to where I could go in later with more precision tape work, if you want to call it, and get it real taped up nice and clean. So what I did here, guys, you could see how quick and easy it was. It took me like a minute, but just put a piece of tape there, 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 and at the corners just to hold the bags up. And now what I'm going to go in and do is these more precise side ones. And I'm going to get the sides lined up. I need to redo that one, but if you notice, a lot of the tape is, most of it's on the bag, and there's just a thin line of it on the glass. And as long as your tape is wide enough to cover however much you leave, you should be good. But I think you guys get the point. I'm gonna go ahead and finish taping off. Alright, I want to give everyone a more detailed view of this, and if you can see, it goes right down the edge perfectly. And if you do have, like right here, there's maybe a little bit of overhang. If you do have it, don't worry about it. As long as you're not over or past the aquarium sealant overhanging too much, you should be alright. But you want to try to get these sides as perfect as you can. And the biggest tip I could give you for that is use small pieces of tape. You can see I use a piece of tape that long, that long, that long, that long. Like, don't try to do this whole thing with one piece of tape. It's just not gonna work out well. You can do it, but it's not gonna work out well. The bottom of the tank, I just folded over like a Christmas present. Not that it matters if any splatter gets on the bottom of the tank, really. And the back of the tank, I just taped to the frame. And this is gonna be down like carefully. It's gonna be in this position when I'm painting it, so you don't really have to worry about the back. You probably, if you're worried about the bottom, you probably should worry about the bottom more than the back of the tank, which will end up being the front of the tank. But alright, we're ready for paint. Make sure that glass is nice and clean, guys. It's painting time. Make sure that glass is clean. It's nighttime here in Buffalo. It's the only time I can find to do this though, but I hope this comes out okay. I have the tank flipped upside down, so here's the bottom. And that's just to prevent spray paint from getting in the top. And now all I'm gonna do is, you don't wanna hold the paint down. You don't wanna hold it down and spray. You wanna do little, just a little bit at a time. And that's to prevent dripping. This way you get a nice even coat. You could see where you need to hit again, and you don't gotta worry about putting too much paint on and having it drip. Sorry guys, I was watching the glass and I didn't see where the camera was pointing. Alright, but I'm gonna continue to do this. So we're blacked out. Looks completely black. Forgot to tell you before I paused the video, is when you're spraying the sides, you want to come in at an angle away from it, like from, also always come in from like the inside of the tank and spray that way. Okay guys, so at this point you want to wait about 2 minutes until the paint becomes tacky, but you don't want it to be dry because you risk chipping the paint when you peel the tape off. So just tacky. And thing I forgot to mention with the taping is when you tape, you want to put it tape, and overlap them in one direction. And then when you want to pull the tape off, you pull from the opposite direction, and you could pull all the pieces of tape off with one easy pull. So that helps a lot, because it's a pain in the butt trying to pick all those little pieces of tape off. But ideally you'd also want to do this in like right at the front of your garage or something, somewhere where it's indoors but well ventilated, so you don't have to move this while it's wet. Like right now I'm outside and it's very dark, and I'm gonna have to move this into my garage, and it's kind of wet, but I knew that going into this, so that's not a huge problem. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move it into the garage, and then I'll show you a picture of it after 24 hours when it's in the stand. Thing I wanted to add before I forget is, a lot of people don't like to paint their tanks because they're scared, because they think it's permanent, and they're like, what if I don't like the color, I want to change it. Don't worry about that, because paint is not permanent, especially on glass. All you need is a little paint thinner and it comes right off. And if it's a really strong paint, you might need to take a razor blade to it, but don't worry about not being able to get it off if you don't like the color. It's really not that bad, not that big of a job. Alright, till tomorrow. Here's the back of the tank after 24 hours. Drying, and as you can see, trying to keep that reflection. There's a little puddle right there, but as far as I can see, the rest of it is a little bit there. But you shouldn't be able to see that from the front, and the rest of it looks silky smooth. So here it is all set up. You can see the back looks beautiful. I was going to try to show it to you guys up close without water, but you couldn't really see, it just looked like a black. So I decided to fill it and set it up. I'm going to give this a couple weeks and get some plants in it, and then get some guppies in there from Guppy Train. Alright guys, hope you learned something from this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and please share this video. That's huge. It's almost more important than subscribing. Thank you so much. Alright guys, till next time.